If coding feels uncomfortable, then you're in the right place. Discomfort isn't a sign that you're failing, it's a sign that you're actually growing. Think about it. Every new concept, error message, every late night Googling answers, that's your brain being stretched. And just like muscles in the gym, growth in coding only happens when you put stress on your system. When you first learn loops, functions, databases, arrays, objects, all of this is going to feel overwhelming. And that's because you stepped into unfamiliar territory and your brain hasn't mapped it or doesn't understand it just yet. It's going to feel like chaos. But slowly with practice, that chaos becomes clarity. And here's the thing: comfort zones don't produce developers, struggle does. The best developers aren't the ones who avoid discomfort. They're the ones who actually lean into it, embrace it, and accept that, hey, this is going to be challenging. Let me get prepared for it. So you may be wondering, what exactly does this mean and how do you know you're uncomfortable? So let's just say this. If you are building a project and you rely heavily on Google to help you with answers or to help you through bugs, why don't you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take the first 10 minutes of me trying to debug this issue. And instead of going to what feels comfortable, whether it be Google, Chat GPT, some online forum, why don't you take the time to break that problem down step by step and try to resolve it without those additional resources? Sure, those resources are going to always be there and available for you, but you want to become uncomfortable and you want to make sure that they don't become a crutch and that they actually are something that you use to help you and not something that you're relying upon to resolve the issue. If you're a web developer and you're not familiar with how to set up a basic HTML page without having to Google every syntax, then hey, why don't you take the first 10 minutes of your planned session when you run into something that you don't know, instead of running directly to Google to find the issue or W3 Schools or whatever resource that you're using? Why don't you try to think through what exactly you're trying to get done and work from memory off the things that you may already be familiar with, and challenge yourself to do something different than utilizing Google or utilizing a tool that you normally go to resolve those issues. If you're in school and you are having to study for a test, instead of cramming things in at the last minute, why don't you find time throughout the day to take that problem that you have to resolve for class and break it down into smaller steps so that you aren't cramming things at the last minute and you're giving yourself enough time and enough grace to actually try to resolve the problem that the professor gave you without relying on tools that can be seen as a crutch and don't actually challenge you to think through the issue without having to rely on something else. All of these little small habits may seem minuscule, but in the grand scheme of things, they're like compound interest. They're going to continue to add up. And the more you work outside of your comfort zone and you challenge yourself to do something that you're not comfortable with, ultimately, the better you're going to become as a developer. And you're going to develop that skill set, that resiliency that you need in order to persevere and to get things done. That's going to become even more challenging down the line. So the next time you feel uncomfortable with coding, don't quit. Don't say, I'm not cut out for this. Just say, hey, this is what growth feels like. Discomfort is the price of becoming the developer that you ultimately want to become. And it's worth paying every single day. Take small steps, take small wins, take a little bit of time every day to work towards that skill that you're trying to develop. So I hope this helped you shift your perspective. And if it did, feel free to give me a like. And let me know in the comment section the last time you struggled with learning and what did you do to kind of work through that pain point, and how did you get outside of your comfort zone to really enhance your overall skill. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe and let me know the most uncomfortable moment that you had to push through in your development journey. And I'll see you in the next video. You see, every bug that frustrates you, every time you can't fix an issue, every feature that seems impossible, that's an exercise, that's a workout. That stress is what's going to build that resiliency and your skill. You see, learning to code is supposed to feel awkward because growth is literally your brain wiring a new connection, trying to embrace something new. That awkwardness, that confusion, that's part of progress in disguise. Don't run from it. Don't allow it to discourage you, but embrace it and just acknowledge that, hey, this feeling will pass, but this is a good feeling because I need this to ensure that I actually am growing and that I actually am challenging myself to learn something new.